Hi, I'm Joe McCambley. I'm a co-founder of The Wonder Factory. We're a digital design firm that builds sites and apps for publishers and media companies. And we also help advertisers figure out their content strategy, and we help them create content as well. The myth behind big data is that data is all you need to be successful as a marketer. And I think that myth assumes that consumers are indifferent to brands, and if you can present them with an offer at the right time in the right place, that they're going to take you up on the offer. And consumers are never indifferent. They have preferences based on their history with you and the backstory that they have with your brand. So storytelling is very important when it comes to building brand preference and loyalty. I don't think as marketers we've ever had a shortage of data. I used to run creative at AOL years ago, and we had a team that was dedicated to doing consumer research. And the problem is that they were giving a lot of data, but nobody had time to look at it, and nobody had time to glean insights from it. So we just buried in data that nobody could take the time to look at. I think what's happening with big data now, Shane Snow was one of the members of our group that spoke today, and they're taking big data from marketing studies, and they're dumping it into topological software. So geographical software where you can use the data to form a topology, and the topology will tell you where the behaviors and where the stories exist within your consumer segments. So you can see why they're doing what they're doing, and then you can tell stories that help them do it better. I think the biggest change that we're seeing right now kind of goes back to 1994, the days of the first banner. When we were creating the first banners in '94, everybody was very idealistic in our industry. And it was really about asking consumers, how can we help you, not what can we sell you? It was a time when you didn't spam people on email. You didn't do anything uninvited on the web. And if you did, hackers would just destroy you. And things have changed so much over the year. We've lost our idealism, and we've become marketers and spammers and inundators with offers and content and banners. I feel a lot of hope when I see what's happening in native advertising, because there are a lot of trained journalists that are moving into native content development, and journalists create content with the best interest of the reader in mind, or the viewer in mind. They want to educate, illuminate, elucidate, help you in some way. So I think we're starting to see that advertisers are getting a clue that not only do you have to do brand journalism, use articles and videos and photo galleries, but you have to have the same kind of great intentions that a publisher has. You have to want to do good. And that's a sea change for advertising. And I think we're going to see a true creative revolution over the next 5 or 6 years in terms of intellectual honesty coming through in advertisers, and advertisers really trying to do good for people rather than just trying to hit them with offers all the time. At my company, we're working on a prototype for what I would think of as a dream ad. And it won't look like an ad at all, but if you're familiar with the Nike Plus app, when you run, you turn it on, and it tells you when you start your run and when you end, what your pace is, the time of day, the weather conditions, tracks your weight, throws off all kinds of data about you as a runner. So we wonder what would happen if I gave permission to Nike to share my data with a magazine like Runner's World. And so that when I open the Runner's World app, couldn't there be a 5 or a 10-page section devoted completely to me? So if I'm training for a marathon, couldn't Runner's World give me information specific to that marathon? Couldn't they give me user-generated photos of the marathon route so I could plan my strategy? If I run before the sun comes up every morning, that means I'm fasting, so wouldn't they give me different nutritional recommendations than had I run at night after having a couple of meals during the day? If I like to run with music, couldn't they go into my iTunes library and help me pick the music that has the right cadence for the style of running that I do? If I travel, couldn't they tell me the best places to run? And couldn't they hook me up with members of the Nike Running Club so I can run with friends? So the use of my data to create a unique story for me in Runner's World means that Runner's World is now telling my story. And what excites me, I don't know who pays for that. Does Nike pay Runner's World? Does Runner's World pay Nike? Do I pay? I mean, we all benefit. Nike gets a big benefit, Runner's World gets a big benefit, and I do. And it's rare in the history of advertising that everybody wins that way. And I think that's what excites me the most about what's happening in advertising now. I think it's going to be possible to create scenarios where everybody wins.